I never imagined to be the guy who is going to spend an entire day in the same PVR, so much so that the staff starts looking at me suspiciously as if I have a maksad. The movie marathon has been completed and we have so much to talk about. Immediately after the Jart review went live, I made it my life's mission that I'm going to go on a bender, not the usual midlife crisis ones, but a movie bender, watching 3 of the film offerings that all surprisingly had subtitles. You should know, as a content creator doing movies, half my anxiety at the opening credits is whether the movie will have subtitles. While Telugu and Malayalam cinema has been exceptional regarding this case, Tamil cinema has always been a flip of the coin. It can go either way. I'm going to talk about the films in ascending order of how much I enjoyed them in theatres. Even though this weekend has not offered a knockout film that I can solely rave about, I can definitely tell you what my most entertaining experience was. So let's dive in, talk about the movies that I caught this weekend, starting with Bazooka. To get your directorial feature film debut with Mammootty can be a daunting task. Director Dino Dennis presents the story of Bazooka with Gautam Menon and Mammootty in lead roles. I don't know what it is specifically, but the case lately with Mammootty movies is that they seem to just draw less interest than what was the case 2 or 3 years ago. Mammootty had such an exceptional year in 2022 and 2023, but I guess it's also the regularity with which his new projects come. Some are bound to go under everyone's radar. With this film and the trailer, it was safe to say that the movie packed in the style quotient, but I was curious whether it'll deliver an engaging crime thriller. I have to tell you with the utmost honesty that this is after a long time where I have tried my level best to like a movie, but eventually just conceded to accepting its mediocrity. The film focuses on Benjamin Joshua, played by Gautam Menon, who is assigned to understand the motivation, pattern and technique utilized by a group of serial robbers and nab them. As he finds himself at crossroads with their methods, he takes the help of Mammootty for clarity and hopefully to catch a hold of them. I can understand the potential of Bazooka from the onset, as it does try to execute an interesting idea. What happens when a group of serial robbers, Riddler style, provide hints to the officers trying to catch them, only for every elaborate riddle to be inspired by video games. Several of the sequences in the movies are juxtaposed by a visual retelling as if it was an extension of a graphic novel or a console or mobile video game, and this accounts for some great novelty in scenes. However, they only work in a vacuum, because what this film suffers from is an absolutely incoherent screenplay and an editing pattern that is extremely frustrating. The late Nishad Yusuf has edited the film, and I mean no disrespect to him, but there is a lack of connective tissue in this film that almost at the halfway point makes you genuinely question what is happening in this film, because it seems to go around in circles. I mean, the vibes are there for this film. You will literally see Gautam Menon and Mammootty strut in various shades and suits in slow motion as a rap or dubstep track plays in the background. The vintage cars look amazing, Mammootty in a suit looks dapper, but it's vibes more than an engaging storyline. But honestly, even from an action point of view, this film is really bizarre in the way it has been stitched up. I don't know why creators are adamant for Mammootty, even at this age, to engage in extremely complex action choreography that involves hand-to-hand combat. It peaked at Bhishma Parvam, but one shouldn't expect the same agility from the 73-year-old legend, as the sequence gets inundated with several cuts, so much so that a frame does not last for more than 2 seconds. The Mokobot can only do so much to support the actors. The problem also that this film suffers from is that it believes it is smarter than what plays out on the screen. The riddles and hints provided are extremely generic and basic. Gautam Menon and his team are presented as this highly skilled force, but they are always 10 steps behind even for riddles that are just basic in deducing. The problem with the film especially is that it rests all of its meat to be revealed in the climax. The motivations, the characters, the emotional resonance or connection you must feel with anyone is at an arm's length. All the pressure being put for it to work out in the end, making it a really frustrating watch because the build-up is interesting, but the payoff is extremely underwhelming. Not shocking you in any way also. Gautam Menon is honestly quite awkward in this role, trying to portray the police officer with swagger, but almost being lost throughout the film, holding on to whatever last ditch of hope he has in cracking the case. Mammootty fares way better, but even a legend like him cannot salvage such a poor script. Alappuzha Gymkhana. This is a movie that I was thoroughly excited for. Not only because I love Khalid Rahman as a director, but also because I think Malayalam cinema is the only industry that is portraying a younger demographic in feature films and actually casting young actors for the same. Naslen leading the pack as a great example of talent who deserves the attention. The film focuses on a group of dimwits who have just failed their 12th examinations and are formulating a method to pass their exams the next year. The only solution that they feel seems achievable is if they get serious about a sport, as it will eventually provide them quotas and grace marks, leading them to pursue boxing and join the Alappuzha Gymkhana. The training, the camaraderie, the coming of age experience as an 18-year-old, and the ultimate state competition is what the film sheds light on. This is one of the only industries where I do not see the age gap between the creator and the actors. I keep on talking about the boomer-like energy Gen Z stories in Bollywood have, but how is it that the relatively older directors in Malayalam cinema can make younger stories and authentically so? The conversations between the friend group and even the meet cute with the opposite sex has this organic quality that never comes across as performative or heavily curated. This is a stage in one's life, and this may not be true for everyone, I get that, but for most boys where everything revolves around creating an impression with the opposite sex. It can be a sport and excelling in it, or something as simple as a small glance on a boat ride. Life's motivation in a young adult's life literally revolves around some validation from the opposite sex, and this is captured beautifully in the film, especially through Naslen's character. The film, from a plot point of view, is extremely linear and basic. There isn't an individual arc that is deep also, but just a tale of misfits wanting a purpose and to be of some bloody use. I love how authentic the film was regarding its portrayal of the sport, how it isn't something that can be learnt overnight, how repetition and consistency, no matter how frustrating it is, can only lead to the path of greatness in a sport. Hilariously showcased when for weeks the group just keeps on doing the same combinations in training. The film took me back to my school athletic district days, where everyone assumed that they were a celebrity, where there was genuine years of rivalry between the districts, where you felt it was nothing short of the Olympics when one stood on the tracks. The portrayal of the boxing matches were extremely engaging and, more importantly, realistic, not going the route of providing everyone their glory. After Sarpata Parambarai, I genuinely hooted and cheered for the boxing matches, and it accounted for a brilliant theatre experience. When Khalid, however, goes in full Talumala mode, it almost seemed like he was in his element, giving me fond memories of what a wild atmosphere it was when I watched his 2022 film. The end and how it all came together was just perfect. But if I were to talk about a wild experience of zero inhibitions, of I don't give a about your opinion attitude of filmmaking, it has to be this absolutely insane film. Good, bad, ugly. I have seen my fair share of fan service movies, okay? But never have I seen such an unabashed and unapologetic portrayal of star worship by a director. The movie Good, Bad, Ugly with Ajith Kumar, directed by Ajith Ravichandran, is so audacious, such an acid trip of meta references, such an obsessive love letter to a star, that it almost makes you put your hands up and concede whether an analytical viewpoint of this movie is even justified. I say this because this film has such an odd, real structure sped up to accommodate today's brain rot that it baffles you and weirdly still entertains you. There is no breathing in this film. You don't have time to internalize any feeling. You move on like you scroll past your reels the moment you get disinterested. It identifies this pattern of yours and keeps on feeding you Ajith Kumar dopamine reels that is a fan being in La La Land. What am I to say about the plot of the film? Well, I think I can provide you some insight. Essentially, Ajith Kumar is a gangster. He promises to his wife that he will leave his ways of the crime world in order to live a peaceful family life. He surrenders himself to jail, promising his son that he will return and reunite with him before his 18th birthday, only for circumstances to go out of hand and for the son to be put behind bars. Ajith, as the gangster, has to take up arms again and find out who is behind such sabotage and causing such trauma to his son. Who knew that I would star in my first web series with Khaki the Bengal chapter and also feature as the main villain in an Ajith Kumar film in the same calendar year? Only those who have seen Good, Bad, Ugly know what I'm talking about. If I were to, be critical of something, it has to be the action choreography in this film. I get that most of the film is sped up and is almost like a fast-forwarded montage or compilation versus anything linear, but the physics-defying stunts and everything blowing up and our lead going unscathed is consistent and sometimes laughable. I mean, the film doesn't take itself seriously in any frame, so it's asking for a lot, but I guess a film that is so stylized could have worked on choreography a little more. It only adds to to the quality of a movie, even if it's just fan service. The only respite was a chase sequence and a brawl amongst gangsters in a hall. There are several Tamil movie references, especially of Ajith's own filmography, that is dispersed throughout the film. I can't tell you what a deafening experience it was in theatres because each meta reference was met with loud cheers and whistles. And it made me think that if I were to sit through a brain rot fan service Salman Khan movie done right, I can imagine absolutely losing my mind. I still could grab a hold of some of the references of Ajith's filmography, everything from Wadi, Billa to even the great chemistry he shares with Simran. But of course, there were moments where it took me some time to process what was said, like the reference to Karapori. I can only imagine what a feast it was for Tamil cinema fans. I know it's a gilly reference. I must say though, just on a side note, Indian cinema across languages needs to do a full rehaul on the way it casts extras, especially foreigners, because their acting is absolutely atrocious. Dubbed in the most unintentionally funny manner, and they have such odd expressions that it really becomes a sore to the eye. I have been watching Ajith Kumar films since the 2010s or so. Since I started doing content, it made me visit some of his filmography from the mid-2000s too, but from when I have been actively watching his films, this is genuinely the most fun Ajith has had since Mangatha, absolutely reveling in its self-aware madness. I found Arjun Das also to have so much fun in this film. It's hilarious that his character's name was what it was. I could not stop laughing. Can I just say on a side note though, I don't know whether this is an unpopular opinion, but I have just not found the likes of Sunil or Redden Kingsley funny in recent movies. It's over the top and sometimes extremely crass. I don't find the appeal of such comedy that rests its shoulders on cross-dressing and sexual innuendos. I found Trisha in this film also frustratingly hilarious. Ajith noticing her reactions to his gangster ways accounted for several hilarious sequences. Also, on another side note, the film references several IPs and international characters very casually. I wonder what are the legal grounds of doing the same, because those ideas are wild, and if they become a reality, it will be an absolute rampage, making holistically this wild film genuinely a fever dream for me. Like a scary amusement park ride that you step on. It's exhilarating, scary, anxiety-inducing, sometimes exhausting, but you look back at it as an experience nonetheless. Not really feeling keen to revisit it again, for it was such an explosion of stimulus to your senses that you just feel overwhelmed and remark.
Oh, that was crazy. I've never actually experienced that sort of atmosphere again before.
And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about these movies. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handles are right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.